you're going to start a procedure, I'm going to say, stroke. First thing I do, I look at the scope, just give it a quick glance. I look if it's connected. So what's not connected? So choose not connected.
दोनों कैमरा आ रहा है.
What is not connected?
आगे वाला कैमरा आ रहा है. अब नहीं आया. हाँ, अब आया. सही.
Well, that's all from this.
सही.
I'll explain how that works later on.
हाँ, यही चाहिए.
You should know how this works. So what happens when you press this valve? The air.
कॉर्नर भी जो है.
You took your finger on the valve. The air.
कॉर्नर तो भी और मार के
it drops, so that then puts out his air. When you press it,
हमारा है तो
you're
ना
diverting the air into the bottle. It's going towards the rope, which is out of here. That's how that works. So there's a delay in the water valve. So what else is not connected? Just because I asked you what else is not connected, that doesn't necessarily mean there's anything that's not connected. Well, we said suction, we said air, water. So in the old days, what's the purpose of this? I've seen a guy press a diaphragm that wasn't connected and he had to drop the scope and fell on the floor because this used to work with the scope. So when you press your diaphragm level, anything that came in contact with the scope will come back and pass it to your So just be aware of the type of equipment you use. There are still a few of those very old diaphragm units where you'll need to curve the scope. Air water this side. One way of making sure that you think the scope is blocked. Why am I going through this with you? You'll rely on your tech guys. If I think that scope's blocked, I like to take responsibility for my equipment. So what I tend to do is I put my finger over there, my finger over here, those two buttons, those two areas, and then I press this. Look, it's blowing air. Just by touching it. Blowing water, just by doing that because there's residual water. Now I know it's not blocked. So that's one way of testing for blocking. Then I can reconnect this. It still doesn't blow water or air. What could be the problem? I've just shown it's not blocked.
Just water over the bottom.
Not enough water in the bottle. Quite right. What else could be wrong? You look very quizzical. What do you think could be wrong? What else would stop air water coming out of that? No water in here.
Damaged bottle.
Damaged bottle. Lid not tight. Pump not working. But we've already proved the pump is working by doing what we've done there. So we're diverting. So now this works. Suction. Suction not working. Suction tube not connected. Suction tube disconnected. Tube not connected onto there. Suction tube too big. So it just sits there and it's sucking air at the same time. These things. Everything now is working. Everything this side is now working. And it still doesn't inflate the valve. That's the problem. Why is this your problem? What you're going to blame the tech guy, but I'm going to blame you. You've got to take ownership and responsibility for the piece of equipment you are going to use. So what else could be the reason why this scope is not being successful in insufflating the air? You know that's working. You know that's fine. What else could be the issue?
Buttons.
But we've already tested that. Before we put the scope in the patient, we've already touched it in the water because you said so. We've already tested it glows. We've already tested it glows water. Look, we're blowing water, so we know it works. What else could be the problem?
Leakage.
From where? From the channel.
Biopsy cap.
Biopsy cap. Something as simple as this. Because we reuse products, this hole may be very large, so that comes up. This may be off, so it may be up. So, what did I ask you to do the first thing when I said to you when you came to the scope?
You check the scope.
I didn't say check the scope. I said look at the scope. So before you go to pick that scope up, what am I asking you to do? You're going to cross the road. You're going to cross the road. Outside this hospital. Lucky back. It's a dangerous road. Don't you think when you cross that road? Did you cross the road outside? How dangerous is it? So what did you do to cross the road? Absolutely. So if you're willing to walk across that road without looking, pick up the scope without looking, would you pick this scope up without looking at it now we've gone through what I've said? You wouldn't cross the road without looking. Why would you pick up the scope without looking? Okay. or do you want to go over here? Right. So here we go. Scope comes up. Pick the scope. Hold it the way you would. Okay? That's great. Scope. Scope. Hold it the way you would. That's great. Excellent. Next person. No. He's holding the scope slightly different. Okay, how's he holding it different? Okay. Put the scope. You know the answer. You know the answer. I can see. Put the scope. Oh, you don't know the answer. Scope it for me. So we're 2-2. You held it in a certain way. You two have held it in a certain way. Put the scope. Put the scope. We're 3-2. What are they doing different? What is 3-2? If they've done it 3 times, you've done it twice. Can you see the difference in how they're holding the scope? Anybody?
The placement of fingers.
No, I've already discounted that. My friend back there said fingers. He said 3 fingers. Okay. It's now going to be 4-2. Anybody got any idea?
The fingers are not on the buttons.
No? You had your fingers on the buttons. You guys pick the scope up this way. You guys pick the scope up that way. I pick the scope up this way. Did you know that? Did you know how you pick the scope up? Well, if you did, you would have got the answer when I was asking. That's 3-2, that's 2-2, that's 2-1. So you didn't. So there's a distinct advantage to holding the scope this way over this way. So now, you hold the scope your way. Yeah? You're going to hold it. So you've got the scope in your hand. Yep, hold it that way. Turn to me. Turn to me. Turn to me. Now you've got the umbilical on the inside. You have the umbilical on the outside. You have the umbilical on the outside. So, with the umbilical on the outside, just relax your hand. Just keep your hand forward. Let go. Let go. So on that, when you do this and you rotate the scope, see how much that is. Now try and reach the fingers. Put your fingers. Okay? Now try and reach. Now turn your buttons. Now you put it to the inside. Put your fingers forward. Now try and reach the fingers. What I'm trying to show you is he's actually fighting against it. When you actually put the hand in, and you latch your hand in to try and get round, you bring in your wrist, it breaks. You'll get carpal tunnel. Write it down, you'll get carpal tunnel. You'll be doing this all the time. Next, when it comes to torque steering, you lose a lot. If the scope is here, and what you do is you lose into the umbilical. And I'll demonstrate that in 2 seconds when I'm torque. If you put the scope here, that stops that having any effect whatsoever on the scope. If the umbilical comes down the inside of the arm. The reason for that is now I can reach here and I can let go easily. Now, if we look at the screen here, where's my friend who says up went down and down went up? The tip now, and the tip goes up. Can you see on the screen? And the tip goes forward, the tip goes down. I've rotated 180. Now, tip goes, and it still goes up on the screen. Important, because that enables you then to actually orientate yourself to the scope. The next thing, this is just a demonstration. This is not what we do in a patient. This is only so you can see what the tip is doing. So I'm going to pull the big wheel back. Look at the angulation of the big wheel back. This scope is in desperate need of a service. So when I pick a scope up before I put it in the patient, I'll be chatting away, I'll be doing this, alright? So that's what I think. And then I think, Okay, so I now have to use something else to actually enable me to get around the corners. Just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to lock the wheel. Anybody lock the wheel during colonoscopy with me, I will definitely tell you off. You don't lock the wheels. Anytime. But SIAG may get you to do it, that's fine when you're with SIAG. But when you're with me, please don't lock the wheels. I don't like it. Watch. I'll hold the scope here. See that? Now, I put the scope in someone's bottom. The scope is here. And then I put the torque. I let go of the torque. I put the torque. I let go of the torque. How can I maintain that torque? I can't come any further around.
So you can go back.
So as I step back, the scope goes forward. If I step to the side, the scope will walk. If I step even further that direction, it's 180. I haven't actually done anything with this hand. When I put the scope closer to the patient, that's what happens. And you can work. So when you see me scope, I do this. It's 360, that's 720. Doesn't really matter. And that's the reason why I hold scope this way, because of that. If I held this outside and then tried to do that, look what happens. It's less. See? I can't get it around. That's because the torque is lost down the umbilical. So, I wish the camera wasn't on now because I'd love to tell you what I actually think. So there's a lot of people in the world who teach, no, you have the umbilical on the outside of your hand, and they'll give you a reason why. If I'm gastroscoping, the umbilical's on the outside of the hand. If I'm colonoscoping, the umbilical's on the inside. The reason why it's out there is you shorter scope, and then I do this, and then I can actually do things like this. That's the reason why I'm rotating round and round. But if my colonoscoping is here, it negates this, then I can do that. Straight off. Same here, I can't. 50% give anything else. The reason for this is that then, what I tend to do, I'll apply torque. So, what, if you remember what did I say earlier on, what you want is more important than how you want it. So what I want is I want to apply this torque. Right? I want to get it around there. Look at my wrist at the top. How can I maintain that? I just point that up there in the air and it stands. Then I can regrip the scope. But why on earth would I want to do that when I could do this? And all I'm doing with the scope is just holding it straight. You look confused. Stop me. You will be doing this in a few moments. So I want you guys just to come, pick up the scope. I want you to put the scope on the outside, and I want you to put it through the torque. See how much you're doing there. So start here with the buttons pointing to the bed. Bring the buttons up. Put the umbilical here, point it to the bed, where they start itself. Bring it up. Then we'll talk about stance. Hold on. Why can't he get it? I didn't touch it. Why can't he get it to go round as much? Why is he struggling to get it to go round as much? Okay. Put it down, let my friend here have a look. Have a think. Watch the hands. There's a slight subtle thing that he's doing that I didn't do. Now he's doing. What's he doing? So he's not getting the scope to go all the way around.
His ankle is not.
You have a go?
His ankle is not.
You've got an opinion? Have a go. It's important. I want you to have an opinion. Please have an opinion. Please have an opinion. Nearly. But you're thinking on the right lines. Put the scope back. You have a go. You have an opinion. Please have an opinion. Come round this side. It'll be easier for you. Easy for you. Again, touch it with the right hand. I want you just to do it with your left hand.
Change of the hand, which we have to change the burden.
Now that will come to that shortly. That's quite right. Come round, my friend. Have a go. So, and then I'll re-demonstrate, and then you can all say, oh, right, oh, yeah. Again, why can't he get it to go as far as anybody? Right, so, anybody seen the answer?
There is a slug in the loop, in the scope. It's bending downwards.
Sending out. So you guys, what you've got to do, because literally I said pick the scope up. I think literally you pick the scope up. If you notice, I hold the scope here. You pick it up like this, and then you do that. I pick the scope up, and I do this. So this is here. As soon as I put this in, even that will take off. That there, that's what he's saying. She thought of it when she was studying before. So when you pick the scope up, what you're going to do, if you look, you'll see, he's not being fancy. People think, what's he doing now? By doing this, it enables you to do this. But what I like to do, the most important reason is, keep your wrist as straight as possible. Keep that as straight as possible. By keeping the wrist as straight as possible, you're reducing injury to your wrist. The issues are at monitor. Monitor is stood there, so we scope like this. He's look at the neck across there. I've got compression seat.
What should be the position of the left hand?
This is support. You'll see, if you're going to apply torque, when I apply torque, I decide which torque I'm going to apply. Right? I'm going to put one of you only. Yourself, control. I want you to apply as much torque as you can with your right hand only. Using the left leg, your right hand only. I want you to apply as much torque as you can using, no, that stays. I want you to apply as much torque as you can on that scope with your right hand only. Keep going as far around as you can. So we're talking 90 degrees. Can you get any more? 90 degrees. Okay. Why do you think you didn't get any further than 90 degrees? Because he's very comfortable, wasn't he? Were you comfortable? Were you uncomfortable when you applied the torque? Is that why you stopped? When you were applying the torque, did it get more uncomfortable?
जब टॉर्क फुल कर रहे थे आप, जब जहाँ पे आपने खत्म किया वहाँ पे अनकंफर्टेबल हो गए थे इसलिए.
Okay. So I have an answer for that. My answer is start uncomfortable and become comfortable. So, if I'm going to apply torque, I'll start with my hand as far around as possible, and I will bring it to a comfortable position. I've gone 270 now, and I'm comfortable. Comfortable. Start uncomfortable, finish comfortable. So my friend, go back. Now you know. Start uncomfortable. So bring your thumb as far around as you can. No, start with your thumb as far around as you can. No, and here. Now apply the clockwise torque. How much torque can you do now? Now you're more comfortable. Yeah? So if you can't do that, what's the answer?
You will not rotate it alignment.
If you can't do that, what's the answer? If you can't start uncomfortable and comfortable, what's the answer? The answer is the left hand. So you come comfortable, put the scope. Come comfortable, apply the scope. That's what this is, a support. Help you apply the torque. This is your steer. This is the feedback. In the UK, I don't wear a glove on this hand. I only wear a glove on this hand. In Pakistan, I got told off, I must wear a glove on both hands, so I wear a glove on both hands. But I like to feel the resistance in the wheel, I like to feel all of it. It's not an issue. We can give you proper gloves over here. In the UK, they give you these latex things, whereas over here, they give you proper gloves. So now we've done that. Any questions? You're desperate to ask a question. There's no silly
Sir,
question.
I didn't got the answer of that question that what should be the exact position of the left hand.
There is no exact position.
Some people are holding it at this level and someone is holding it at this level.
Right. A surgeon will hold it here. A surgeon won't move. A surgeon will hold it here. There's nothing wrong in holding it there, because the next thing that I want to introduce you is something that we'll leave it there. So, a surgeon will hold it here, and they'll do this. Not a problem. Okay? After this course, you'll hold it a bit more relaxed. You're not pulling up on your neck. The reason why I'm asking you to think about these things is, how old are you? 50? What?
32.
Why did you have to think?
So you confused me by saying 50.
Go on. So you're 32. When I was 32, I was fine. When I was 40, I had to think hard what I was doing wrong. I might be able to scope, but I'm doing something wrong, man, because there's something not right. So I was thinking about how I stood. So shoulders, square. This is why we're looking at the monitor. The monitor needs to be in a position where you can see. Here, I'll just accommodate wherever it is when it comes to this type of thing. And you have to think about this. If you can have the monitor here, so you go stood square to the monitor, brilliant. If you can't, no worries. You just have to accommodate. Turn the bed. So in a room, if that's where it had to be, I'd actually turn the bed, bring the foot round there, so it matches with myself around a little bit more. Stand as square as possible, and then come around. Now, the next thing, you want to know about body position. If I'm a surgeon, I'm here, and I'll do this. And they'll stand still, because it's ingrained. As a surgeon, they're going to stand still, they're doing the wrong thing. As a physician, you may want to move a little bit more, but the majority will stand like this. Physicians will stand like this. You'll see them. Right? Myself, I stand like this, I'll bring the scope up. If I want to move any further, I'll step back, and you could actually just walk around. You could do a full 360 if you wanted, and the scope's gone around. And I'll look at the monitor somewhere else, because there'll always be two monitors in the room. You can actually do anything you want with the scope. You can come back and think, how do I want it? And make it work. So, if you start, you'll see that scope down here. Keep the bed, see the loop down there, affects the scope. If I bring it up, it will go less. If I actually bring the scope up into the air, stepping back, I increase that. I can actually walk it off the bed of all. The scope. Yeah.
Right side top we have this and this uncomfortable position, and we have
When you're actually looking right, if you're doing right
left
talk,
talk, sir.
left talk is just the opposite. You'll be thinking is right talk. So if you want to actually increase your left on talk, and you're thinking that it needs to be left on talk, you can then adjust the patient, and then you can actually make it advantageous to you. So putting the scope down onto the floor, gently, if you look, gently lift up, put the scope here, let it sit there, gently introduce it. All these people will tell you you can't have a loop in the umbilical and talk steer. That's because they've got the scope down here. It's here. You neutralise the effect of the umbilical on the scope. Then if you want to apply clockwise torque, and that scope's done, how many loops is that done?
It will not damage the patient.
Now, what won't stop you damaging the patient is doing this. Slowly. Looking, feedback, listening, stop, look, listen. Any questions on that bit? So, let's recap. When I asked you to look at the scope, what did we do? Quickly, we checked the scope was connected, we realised what the faults were. If we didn't have any suction, we now know how to check the scope. We now know if we disconnect that, we can check that. Therefore, it's a bottle fault, not a pump fault, and not a block channel. So we then know it's something to do with the bottle, there's no air water channel, so we can then look at that. Anybody explained that to you before? No. And you wonder what goes on. Next, we know about the suction. Suction, if it's poor, could be that it's not connected, etc., etc. But this could be too big, could be hanging off, etc. Could be a blocked channel, could be some debris, and importantly, could be some debris within here. So you're taking out your button, putting your finger across. Now, if you're going to do this during the procedure, if I think the channel is blocked, it's the only time I'm going to pick up a wire. I'm going to pick up a wire, I'm going to put it over, and I'm going to take this off. Then I'm going to put the finger over there. I'm going to ask for a new button, or that to be cleaned. That then is going to suck some water through. Now, what I tend to do here, I'll get a 20mm syringe, I'll connect it here and suck back. That then just clears the hemorrhage. So these are tips for you to help you. By the way, I'm melting at this time. So you might be thinking, man, he's sweating. Yeah, I'm not ill, I'm melting. I sit under the aircon, hence that's why I went to sit back there, I couldn't sit up here. So if you're wondering why I'm melting, the amount that he's already kills it. So it's nothing against you guys at all, in any way, shape or form. Any questions? So we know that if we hold the scope like this, it takes away the torque. If we hold the scope like this, it increases the torque. We know that our posture, keeping it square, will help reduce injuries later on, keeping our wrists square. How we stand on our feet, if we stand on our feet square. If I want to surgeon, if the surgeon steps out, the scope, what did the tip do? You're too busy watching me. If I step back in, what did the tip do? I've done nothing with the scope. Step back out, what did the scope do? So when you're doing something, something's happening, and you want to stop, stand still, do one thing only, and that will help you. If that isn't enough, open your stance. If that isn't enough, drop your hand, let it come down. Turn the scope. Pick it back up. Let it go. This hand is only for support and advance. This hand will help you with the torque, but this hand will stop the torque being lost. You want less torque, put the scope together. More torque, bring the scope down. When you're trying to do something in a colon, you've got the scope here. You're passing down your accessory. Right? This is what happens to the scope. See it jiggling at the end. Right? Then you get in. Oh, it's lost position. Oh, it's lost position. Oh, lost position. Stand up straight. Go back to where it was. Because you're focusing, you lean forward. Everybody does it. Everybody. So when you're doing it, if I have this thing, if I'm going to say, right, we'll take this collar off, you'll say, right, so let me get position. The eyes are for a reason. I did that for a reason. Right, so let me get position. Okay, so you spend 5 minutes, I've got position now. I've lost position. You spend another 2 minutes getting position. Oh, I've lost position. Look, get position, relax, pass the scope now. You can go back to where you were there. Don't have the accessory out before you get back in position. That is the most important thing. Snares are chamfered. You know what I mean when I say chamfered? They've not got a bullnose end, they're chamfered. So when you pass out the plastic of the snare, that will go straight through the mucosa. So when you get down and you know it's come to the bending section, you feel it, stop. Then slow and right down. Right down. And then as that emerges, then what do you say when you want me to open the snare? What do you say when you open the snare?
क्या बोलते हैं टेक्नीशियन को क्या इंस्ट्रक्शन ओपन
Open, close.
Come on! You know the answer.
So I think I do the same thing. Open the snare, please. I will do that.
anything else and how should you open this
Be gentle. Be gentle. Slowly open the snare.
Let's be gentle.
Slowly open the snare.
Right. When we're going to snare, I'll show you why. Because if you open, they'll just open. that snare coming out will push back the skull. As soon as it hits the wall, it will push back the skull. Then it's going back. So anything you want doing, you remember I said anything you want doing, slowly, do it slowly. So slowly open the snare, please. Oops. The word slow. Slowly open the snare. Down to they won't hit. Slowly open the snare. So if the snare's open, then you can go right. Now I'd like you to. Now this is me. You guys might say close. The polyp's gone. They've snared it straight off because they've closed. So what I say is, before you do anything, I'd like you to close the snare at this rate, please. Or you can say, slowly close the snare. Just close, 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 close. Stop. Now I'd like you to close, close. No, I want it slowly. Stop. Right. Now, we come to taking off a polyp, small polyp. We're not going to be taking off big polyps in this course. If there's a big polyp, one of the big boys is going to end up doing it, I'm afraid. Unless we think that we're competent to do it. Please be aware that this is a basic skills course. I don't like to use the word basic skills course. This is an endoscopy skills course. It is about getting you safe skills and regulating yourself. So if it's a big polyp, I want you to actually understand that one of those guys will probably take it over. Now, also, I'd like you to know is that I personally think that we limit the time that you have on a patient, because patients aren't your plaything, they aren't a playground, so we're looking at 30 minutes to 40 minutes depending on how it's going. You will not be allowed to play with a patient longer than that, because if you think that you're going to get an hour of a patient, forget it. Because I think if it was you wouldn't like anybody doing that for that length of time. So if you haven't reach your learning objectives within that 30 minutes, you won't be reaching the learning objectives. So if you set unreasonable learning objectives, so you've never done colonoscopy, if you said to me you want to do terminal ileum, I'll say not cat and else. That meant no chance. If you said to me, I've not done colonoscopy, but I'd like to have a straight scope when I get to the splenic fracture, I'd say, well done. Excellent. By the time you get to the splenic, you've got a straight scope. I want to be able to get into the transverse colon, proximal transverse colon by the end of day 2. Excellent. Great objective. Because by day 3 you'll be in the sequel. You may be in the sequel on day 2, but set an objective that is achievable. One, it's achievable. If you've achieved it, that doesn't mean the procedure's going to stop. If you've achieved your objective of getting to the distal transverse colon in 5 minutes, that doesn't mean the procedure's going to stop, you're going to continue. So just because you set something that's realistic for you, really I want to be able to get to the distal transverse, but if I tell him that, if I get there in, say, 10 minutes, they'll stop the procedure. No, that's not the case. We'll allow you to continue. What we're saying is set an objective that is realistic and achievable for you. We'll say, okay, it may be something that is under what your capabilities are. So maybe you might want to think about this. We'll have the discussion. Maybe you want to think about this. Okay. Is that okay with you guys?
Yes.
Remember, so we're not a playground. I will be saying like 30-40 minutes per patient. Somebody else will finish off the procedure. We'll then have a chat about how the procedure went. You set realistic objectives for that with the trainer before you do the procedure. Okay? Well, if you turn around and say to me, I'd like to do terminal ileum and I want to do loop dance on my head at the same time, I'll say that's completely unrealistic. If you want to be able to achieve something that's realistic, then you're on the right course. And it's personalised to you. Alright, let's turn this off. Right. Now what I want you to do now is, you've not done much. You've not done much. You guys, if you can stand that side, if you don't mind. Stand there. What do you think we're going to get you to do? Fasting. What do you think I'm going to get you to do?
What?
What do you think I'm going to get you to do?
Yes.
आप एग्जाम में क्या कराना चाह रहा है?
Yes, I'm going to head one and third school.
Ooh. Now, what do you think I'm going to get you to do now?
अभी आप आमने सामने खड़े हो तो क्या कराएगा आपसे क्या
Hands on,
Scope.
insertion,
Scope handling. Scope handling. Right. You're going to take centre stage.
क्या कराएगा
Now, why? What do you think we're going to get you to do now? She's been honest and identified an issue. What's her issue? What has she said that she's found the most difficult when she's doing colonoscopy?
इसने भी बोला था ना कि क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम होता है इनको
इनको तो कुछ problem नहीं है.
Oh, Dad! Now, are you telling me you weren't listening?
Yeah.
Oh, so does that mean that when we go into the... See, now you get it. So does that mean because you didn't listen to what she says, when I take you into one of the rooms, you're not going to be listening? You see, anything... I'm a bit of a booger. I am a bit of a booger. I like to have a laugh, but please, these guys, they're sharing things with you, and when I ask you, you know, that you will be helping support this colleague of yours, soon to be a friend of yours, because at the end of the course, but she'll be a friend of you're going to now support her in learning how to help resolve a loop. And she identified a loop being a problem. And it's your responsibility, wherever possible, to help each other. We don't help each other enough. So the reason why I picked on you, not because I thought that you wouldn't know the answer, it was because she's got a problem, and I want you guys to feel that we're helping and supporting each other. It's not just going to come from us, it's going to come from you guys. Right? And feel free to talk. What, you know, it's embarrassing to say in front of people, you know, well, I find it difficult because that's how she did it. She actually got and she said she's got a cecal intubation rate of, you know, a God. So that doesn't mean anything, you know, I've not got anything against that. But what I've got is that she's identified something that she wants to learn, and if we don't listen to each other, we're not respecting each other. I'm not saying disrespect to her, but I'm saying please, from this point on, listen to what each of us are saying. When I say each of us, I'll have problems, you'll have problems. You might not understand me, that's a problem. Please tell me, I've asked you to. But pay each other the same respect and listen to what they're saying. It's very, very important. Okay, my friend, how do you feel about closing your eyes? Yeah, I'll get you to do something, but how do you feel about closing your eyes?
आंखें बंद कर लोगे तो मसला तो नहीं हो रहा नहीं how do you feel about
I'm feeling good.
What are you thinking at this moment?
No, I don't see this.
Okay.
With closure of eyes.
Yeah, when the eyes are open, what can you see?
Yes, I see this.
What are you thinking when I'm asking you to close your eyes and I'm doing this before you close your eyes?
Are you trying to hypnotize?
I don't think so.
so ये कह रहे हैं कि ये स्कोप कर रहा है ठीक है and he's asking you कि आप अपनी आंखें बंद करो तो आपको क्या समझ रहे हो कि क्या कराएगा स्कोप क्यों मिला रहे हैं
अभी मैं इसको
I know he's being difficult. Right, listen, I know the point that I'm trying to make is how many of you guys then pick up the scope and you start doing this and the patient can see you doing this.
it's right
And it's
scared
be honest, you were worried when I asked you to close your eyes that you thought I was going to ask you to turn around. No. So be aware that when you pick the scope up, when I'll pick the scope up, I'll actually turn away and do my checks here and check the wheels. So the patient doesn't see this. So now I'm tricky. So now you realise I'm tricky. So everything that I do for a reason. Okay? So this is for a reason. So I want you now to close your eyes. Okay? Genuinely. Close your eyes. Keep them closed, tight, shut. I want you to put your hand open. You've opened your eyes.
आंखें बंद रखो
Keep.
और जो
I want you to put your hand open. Right? Now, I'm going to put something in your hand. Your eyes stay closed. Hold it tight. Now, I want you to take out the loop. Loop? Yeah. Okay. Now, I want you to describe taking out the loop. Describe it.
जो आप कर रहे हो ना बताते भी जाओ कि कैसे आप लोग आउट
This is
कर रहे हो
a clockwise starting movement.
Yeah. Have you took out the loop? You have. Advance. No. I ask you to hold that in your hand. I'm asking you to take out the loop.
This is clockwise starting movement.
Yes. Advance the scope. Is the scope going forward? Okay. Now I'm asking you to put clockwise torque on again. How does that feel compared to before?
This is now feeling difficulty there.
What is it feeling like?
So
Yes,
some
sir.
resistance.
Okay. Now draw the scope back slowly. Slowly draw the scope back. How does that feel?
Now it's feeling good.
Good? Is it not feeling worse? Tighter?
Yes.
Yes. So it's not feeling good. So slowly apply anti-clockwise torque and draw back at the same time. Slowly apply clock and draw back at the same time. 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 And draw. Now, how does that feel?
It's feeling comfortable.
Does this?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've got you drawing back the scope and now your arms up here. Let's make you feel more comfortable now. Close your eyes. See where his feet are? Now slowly step back. Slowly step back.
पीछे होते जाओ
पीछे होते जाओ।
Stop. Now the other foot, take this foot back. Don't want to touch your shoes, they're nice and fancy. Right. Now put on clockwise torque. Slowly, draw back. Stop, draw back. Withdraw. Slowly withdraw. Step back. Stop. A bit more. Slowly apply the clockwise torque. Shoulders coming off centre. Step back. Apply clockwise torque. Step back. Apply clockwise torque. Step back. Apply clockwise torque. Step back. Stop. How does that feel?
It's again comfortable.
No. How did that feel when you were there?
Now I am feeling difficulty.
Well, that's because I cannot let go of the scope. But the scope now is a difference. Now put your feet together. Draw your left foot back and put them together. How much has he stepped back? So 2 squares. Now that was only a small loop, like so. And we look at the loop that was in. That's all that was in. And he stepped back 2 squares. So it shows you how much scope you need to withdraw. Now I'd like you to come round and try the same. Because he's not done many, so he's going to feel comfortable. And I'd like you then to tell me what torque, what loop you've got on the scope. I don't want to hear alpha loop, I don't want to hear delta loop, I don't want to hear gamma loop. So close your eyes. Good. That's it. Good. So what type of loop? Just do a slight clockwise. Now stop, don't withdraw. Do not withdraw. Stop. Anti-clockwise. Slowly. How does that feel? Now slowly apply clockwise to it. How does that feel? Comfortable for who? Okay, now let's put that torque back in. Step forward. I don't want you to step back. I just want you to tell me how does torque, how it feels as you're taking the loop out. How does that feel? Okay. Now how does it feel now? Okay, stop. Draw the scope back. So step back. How does it feel now? Tight? So why keep pulling then if you're making it tighter? Why keep pulling if you're making it tighter? So now apply clockwise torque. Stop. Step back. How does that feel compared to before? So if it feels comfortable, keep withdrawing. Slowly. Stop. Apply clockwise torque. Step back. So what we've done, what we're trying to show is as you're applying the torque, when you apply clockwise torque, it doesn't matter. this instance, when I apply clockwise to it, it feels tight. I'm going to ask you to come round and feel it. When you apply anti-clockwise to it, it feels lighter. So wherever it feels the least resistance, that's the torque you're applying. So when you're coming back here and you're applying anti-clockwise, what is happening to the, I'm not to learn somewhere, what happens when you're doing this, the apex of the scope is rising inside the valve. Look, if it goes in at this point of insertion, so that rises. That then is stretching the message. When I go here, that's stretching the message. But you're increasing the tension in there anyway. As I pull back, I'm actually causing more discomfort. So what I need to do in this instance is hit the scope, anti-clockwise, draw back the scope, stop, increase the torque, draw back the scope, stop. This is what I'm actually doing back in a second. Anti-clockwise, draw back the scope, stop. See how slowly I'm doing it? So now I can make myself comfortable. Anti-clockwise, draw back the scope, stop. Draw it back, draw back the scope, stop. How much stretching have I done on the mesentery? Draw back the scope, stop. Increase your torque, draw back the scope, stop. Draw back. Now this is the different. Look at the proximal side of the scope. I'm lifting as I pull back. So now you're actually causing discomfort on the proximal side. So now, as I increase, let it come round, and let it come round. Now, what you guys are going to end up doing, you're going to end up flopping this round. If you notice what I'm doing, I'm doing it ever so slow. I'm not allowing it to happen. I'm actually controlling it as I come back. Now I know I need to actually decrease it and let it come back. And the reason why I know that's happening is because this would be this side of the scope. That would be this end of the scope. That would now, as I come back at that point, would bury the tip into the side wall of the colon. So I know what's happening. It's just about to release. As soon as it releases, I continue and I draw back. Now what you guys were then doing, you said it feels fine. And then that was the end of it. But what you've done is that it enables the scope to go forward. What have I done that enables the scope to go forward that you guys didn't do? What have I done? Sorry? I did that slowly, yes. But what am I currently doing that you guys didn't do?
अभी वो क्या कर रहे हैं जो आप लोगों ने नहीं किया to get it?
Slowly trying, slowly.
When you ever see my thumb, you see there, that's white. So I've got pressure. So I'm maintaining the torque that took off the scope. What you guys did was then relax. As soon as you do that, that scope will go forward. If you look, see the hilt? By doing this, then you can actually advance the scope. I keep the pressure on, keep the torque on. So I'm going to ask you guys now to come back. You two have had a go, so you'll be the 4 and 5. You come round, you see where this is, and now slowly start uncomfortable. Yes, and here. Apply the torque slowly and withdraw the scope. This is the bubble. Is that the right direction? How's that feel? The tip. So now you tip, because that was that end of the change orientation, it will go into the wall. So you know now you have to increase your anti-clockwise torque. Increases. That then stays stable. Keep going back, keep going back, keep going back. Maintain the torque and advance. Advance. What happened is, as you come round, you actually took the torque off. You actually let it go. When the idea is that when you apply torque, it comes out, you actually take it out. If you apply the torque, keep it on, it will go forward. Watch. The loop comes out, I take it out, keep the torque on, it will go forward. If I come out with the loop, bring it back, I'll let the loop go. It's the same thing. Take the loop out, take the torque off, have control of the torque as it comes off, I let my hand come round, I keep it on, scope will go forward. See? As I take it off, scope comes off, I let the scope relax, and void. I'm doing nothing different. I happily let, you can hold the scope here, and you can see what I do. I'm doing nothing different. So hold the torque as it comes off, hold it on, advance the scope. So when you got it back to this point and it came out, if you'd have held the torque, you would have gone forward. Because you lifted your hand, the directional force is down here. So when you're actually going to apply the torque, keep the scope straight. Even just lifting the hand, the directional force. So when you go into the rectum, a lot of people will do this with the scope, and the scope will bury down and go forward. What you've got to do is think, that's the rectum, and that's the direction of travel. That's the rectum, that is not the direction of travel. That is not the direction of travel. This is not the direction of travel. That's the rectum. And the way I do it, I often put my finger straight on the scope, and I'll drive it forward. Yeah? You understand? That's the rectum. I'll advance the scope. Scope isn't here, that doesn't go down. Doesn't go up. Doesn't come back. Doesn't go forward. When you actually come back, it changes the direction of the tip. Triangle changes the direction of the tip.
When we reach maybe electrosigmoid 4,
It doesn't matter where you are, it's when you're withdrawing the loop, you advance it in a straight line. It goes in a straight line. So whatever happens, once you've finished taking out the loop, it comes out, let it come out nice and steady. As it comes out, you'll notice that I'm actually gripping it with these fingers, holding it here with the fingers, and then when you come back to the point, because it's come off too far, I can then advance the scope. I don't drop the hand, I don't pick the hand up.
when we come back and we push again, the loops again pops. So how to prevent
That's because you're not taking the scope back far enough. What I've shown you here is that a lot of people will take the scope back and they'll come back to here. That's as far as you physically can come. You step back, you've noticed already that that is here and that's come back to there. So if I actually start where this feet were, which was here, and it held the scope here, if I actually take that back, no one is going to hold the scope back there. No one. So it shows you how much scope you have to take out. That's the reason for demonstrating that. When I gave you the scope, I gave you the scope here. So the scope actually started on number 3. So in actual fact, that's the distance the scope has had to be withdrawn. And no one does that. So when you actually do it, you haven't taken the scope back far enough. So you go to comes back. Right, I think that's far enough. I go back in, it reforms. Comes back. Okay, and guess what? It reforms. It reforms differently. What's going on there? Comes back. Goes back, and it reforms. See? Even though I'm going forward, it reforms. Come back. Even though it's going back, and now, oh look, you've got to come back. The amount of withdrawal isn't matching the amount that you think it's actually more. You have to withdraw. So you'll hear it, slowly withdraw, keep going, slowly withdraw, more withdraw. But when the scope comes back and our loop is finished, let's watch the tip of the scope. As the scope comes out, as it comes out, watch the tip of the scope, as the loop comes out, the scope steps forward. Now it's not going to be as big as that, but it does a little shimmy, it will step forward. Every time when the loop comes out, the scope comes out, watch. As it comes out, if you keep holding the scope in the orientation, it comes back and then it will go forward. You will always do it. Come back, see? Go forward. Then you notice the toe. That's when you know that it's finished. Also you know because it's more relaxed in the hand. So, from this, if you increase, slowly apply the torque, if it's getting tighter, wrong way to go. If it's getting more relaxed, right way to go. Withdraw slowly at the same time as applying the torque. If it's staying comfortable, continue withdraw, continue applying the torque. Keep coming back, keep coming back. Maintain the torque, and then we advance. Once you've seen that little bit of movement, if you don't see the movement, you just keep coming back until you see the scope come back, but maintain the torque. If you maintain the torque, the scope will go forward. Look, if you maintain the if you let go of the scope will what it's doing. So maintain the torque. If you remember what we actually said is when you withdraw with the torque, maintain that torque that you withdraw until you've gone past. If you actually look at the scope and you actually maintain the torque here, look, going up, and applying. Look. If I apply any torque anti-clockwise, just a little bit, the scope will go forward, but it stiffens the scope. If I go forward, no torque at all, just holding it, no torque at all, nothing. I've not done anything here. If I apply clockwise torque with a straight scope, we go forward. So applying a slight amount of torque stiffens the scope. Any questions about what we've done?
Any other suction unit?
Suction will actually stabilise the tip. Suction does have a role, but don't always rely on suction because it can actually cause suction artifacts. And sometimes when you suck the mucosa down and then you pull it back, you can actually cause more problems, more harm than good. So suction is just to hold the tip of the scope. But if you're actually going to use suction, make sure you can still see a little bit of room. So don't overuse the suction. Anything else?
So giving air and then suck it, giving air and suck it.
Rubbish.
Better.
No. It's like throwing water in a river. What's the point? There's no point. So if you blow air and suck it, there's no point. Intermittent suction can help in stabilising the scope. There's a lot of things that help you for landmarks. So see where fluid lies. Person's in the left lateral, the fluid's at 6 o'clock, you know that's where the bottom is. You know where 9 o'clock is, you know where 6 o'clock is, you know where 3 o'clock is. Change of position. I tend not to use a lot of, I don't use a lot of pressure in the UK. Over here, do use a little bit of pressure over here more so because the scopes are a lot more tired. So they're not as, this scope, for example, it's flexible in 3 or 4 places where it wouldn't normally. So I tend to use abdominal kick. Moving position, yes, I do tend to move position. Over here again, you've got to be respectful of whoever. I'll try and avoid at all costs asking a lady to go onto her front. Staying on her side, I will try and persist to discomfort in her left side. I'll bring her on the back if I have to, but that is a last resort. But also, the most important thing, and this is you guys, you can get away with this. If you're not getting away with it, it will assist your technique. If it's a lady, gents, girl, lady, will be respectful so the sheet's coming over. I learnt it very, very early on. When I was here, that's the anus of a lady. The feet are here, the sheet is here, my hand is here. My hand isn't under the blanket. It isn't hidden. If my hand anywhere, it'll come up to the blanket, it'll indent into the blanket, but my hand never disappears under the blanket. It disappears under the sheet. So, be respectful to ladies. You have to remember that wherever possible. And always, 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 I will never do a procedure with a lady without having a lady present. Please don't. It's not right, it's not correct, it's immoral, so it's inappropriate.
Any rule of this big wheel is
Why would I want to twiddle the wheel while
we are taught to send it, we have to down the big wheel and then clockwise.
That's hooking. That's called hooking. So what you're doing there is that you're hooking onto the barrel. That is old school. And what you can do is if you're at this, oh man. Right, you're hooking. So if you then do that, what can you do to that part of the barrel? What's the barrel attached to? Mesentery. Right. You're at the splenic flexure, and you hook the splenic flexure and you pull it down. You can cause major splenic injury. It's called hooking. I'm Sorry. Ooh. Don't hook.
Only forward with flow. So what about pouring more water?
Water? I like water. Right. What type of water?
Using
What type of water?
warm water.
Okay. What
That's
type?
the detect when delooping.
Well, if you think you've got spasm, water helps tremendously. I like water. I use water. But what type of water?
Lukewarm.
Lukewarm water. Why?
It won't cause any harm to the mucosa, plus it will release the spasm, it will inflate the bowel as well.
I think it helps the bowel relax. Warm water, not cold water. Cold water is for GI bleeds, anything that's bleeding. So if you've got a bleed, first thing I will always ask for is ice water. If I'm doing colonoscopy, warm water, not cold water. Cold water will cause spasm.
So what's your experience about using carbon dioxide?
CO2 I don't like, I use. I think it's great for ARCP, I think it's great for long gastroscopy procedures. I think it's very good and has a place in enteroscopy. I do think it has a place in colonoscopy. The issue I have with it, it's very slow to actually go into the bowel, and so you get a bit bored and you over-inflate sometimes. I think it's a good learning tool for people because trainees will actually over-inflate, so with the reabsorption rate it actually reduces that discomfort. But if you're going to use CO2 in your practice and you're going to be guaranteed to be able to use CO2 on a regular basis, then use it. If you're not going to be using it and you're going to be using air, then use air and manage the patient more appropriately. So putting the patient on the right side at some point in time allows the air then to escape. You look in pain. Ask. Ask.
So regarding this
Paul, please. My name is Paul. My mother called me Paul. My dad called me Paul. My brother calls me Paul, especially when they ring me up. My wife calls me Paul Paul. She calls me Paul Paul. My granddaughter calls me Gugu. Gugu. Gugu, come here. No, but call me Paul.
regarding this water emergency,
Yeah.
how much water we have to conserve and in some specific area where the
I'm not going to say to you, 100 mils here, 5 mils there. You want to advance, press the pedal, you watch the bow. With a couple of 10-15 mils, it's there. Remember, right, the water has to go somewhere. At the end of the test, if you don't withdraw that water, the water will end up somewhere, and a patient who may have had sedation or may have not had sedation, but in both cases will be very embarrassed. So remember, if you are going to use water, try to remove the water if you can safely. Sit the scope just above it. Why just the level of water? Why do I get you to sit the scope just above it? Oh, right, we've got 2 people. We've got one at 5, we've got one at 7.
5.
5? Well, what's at 7?
There's 8.
So, we're right, the suction port is at 7 on a particular scope, and the suction port is at 5 on another particular scope. The gastroscope and colonoscope. So, at a colonoscope, where is it?
5.
Now, if you don't want, this is an old technique. You've got the water. I'm old. I'm 60. Paul, you don't look it. Try it. Paul, you don't look it. So I'm 60. Old man's technique. Pass a pair of forceps down the scope. Just as you come out, you can see the forceps. Just let the tip of the scope drop into it. Suck. You can't suck the mucosa up and you'll get rid of all the water. Old man's technique. Don't look impressed.
Sorry, can you repeat? So you're saying that...
Put the forceps down the scope.
Alright.
Get the forceps so they just appear, just a little bit. They're not the rigid end, so they actually come out. So you know when the actual jaw opens, That then is very rigid, so just advance it another centimetre so that the floppy part of the forceps. Drop the tip into the fluid, suck the fluid. You'll never suck the mucosa up and you'll just suck the fluid. Okay? You've got loads of questions.
With time I will ask.
Okay. No worries. Any questions? Paul.
During
Paul.
the sedation time, you were talking about the giving the lowest sedation,
Yeah.
lowest dose of sedation. And shouldn't it be the patient choice to decide whether the patient to be given the make or
Patient is there, so you have to, in discussion with the patient, you're a doctor, so you have an understanding of how that sedation is going to affect that patient. If you don't have an understanding of how that's going to affect the patient, then I have a question, should you be doing the procedure? So that sounds rude, I know, but I'm not meaning to be rude. So the patient says, I'd like to be knocked out. And you could then turn around and say, for these reasons, it would be unsafe.
we need to explain
You need to be responsible for your practice, and you need to be able to tell the patient the reasons why it would may be better to consider this. However, if the risk to that patient is very high, and you believe it is too high, then you can actually say, in your opinion, the patient may go somewhere else. And if you're willing to actually do that, that's fine. But if the patient actually says they really would like to not know anything, so now they're actually saying like a GA, you could then turn around and say, well, physically there's no reason. Yes, there is this, you've got a bit of asthma, but if the anaesthetist thinks you're okay, then I've got no problem with that. Okay, so you have to be aware that patient, their body is their temple. Would you desecrate a temple so you wouldn't know it would go in to do something? So if these people want to consider what they're saying, listen to what they're saying, it's very important for patients. Right, scopes themselves. If you don't, any other questions before we go on to this? Just going to look at the configuration of that. At this point, I always tell people scopes are stupid. Why is a scope stupid? Scopes are stupid. Why is a scope stupid?
It would work the way we want it to work.
Right. The scope is only as clever as the operator. If you think the scope is going to get you around, then forget it. There's something stupid. So, we've got the proper stuff. Well, man. Impressed. Whoa. So what happens is that on the this actually goes in the valve, actually lubricates. This actually lubricates the scope because of these mannequins. So that's expensive. So going back, look at the scope. So what are we checking? Suction air water. So on the mannequin we tend not to use the suction. Can you see there we've got big hole, little hole. Okay. So the big hole is onto the water, the other one is onto the blow. Can you see? That's your pump. You hear it? That then covers up. That's how you know. So we now connect this up onto that, and it goes in a certain way. You have to do it at 12 o'clock, and it clicks around and then locks in position. There's no sound. That's great. Now, we do this in front of the patient, don't we? No. So what do? Great. In doing that, we release all anything that's there. We make sure that the wheels are pointed in the neutral position. Neutral position is the 10 twos. Yeah? What was that? Oh look! So we need that. What else do we need to check on this particular scope? White lights. Whoa! What does white light affect? You've said it, so now I have to ask you. So, with this type of processor, white balance, what is the purpose of white balance? You said white balance, so what is it a measure of? Okay. On these processors, white balance is that they don't do true colour, they give you a perception of colour. So it has to have ground zero. Ground zero, it needs to know what white is. And therefore, when it actually shoots the light out of here, what colour is the light that comes out of here? It's not a trick question. Oh, Christ. So what's the colour when it comes out of the one that flickers? You know when it flashes? When it strobes? You know when it seems white again, doesn't it? You know the one that, the old Olympus? The old flashes? No? You all saying? No. So the light that comes out of there, again, it looks white. But what happens is, it's actually strobed through the three primary colours, and it measures the amount that's reflected back. That's the same here. This is shooting white light. Can you see how that there? See the colour of my hand? So it's shooting that light. Now, I'll give you this, some people, and say white balance. So if you white balance on that, can you see the little black areas that are there? So it gives a different perception of what white will actually occur. So that's your white balance, done with one of these. Now my hand is back. See how it still looks a little bit red? The actual proper device is this one. You put it on, you don't stuff it in. The reason why you put it on is that you could bend the actual water channel nozzle at the end. Now the white is slightly different. Now it may not look it, but that is less intense than this one. And the colours are brighter and more defined. See now? Whereas on this one, you've got dark when it absorbs. So you always want to be able to use this. And if you look from the end, there is a little silver dome on the end. That's actually the air-water channel. It directs the water over the lens. If you stuff that in, you'll actually bend that, and that will actually stop the air-water channel working. Now scopes, pick them up. They are silly. Lubricate. Is there anything in it? Is it lubricatable already? Or is it not? I don't know if he's put anything in. So you guys, yes, I wear gloves, but I don't necessarily on one of these procedures. This stuff, remember what happens, what I've said about it, what happens to that in comparison to dries out quicker. This has got a slightly different property. The other thing that's good about this compared to KY jelly or that, if you were to forget that in the bowel, or if you're a mannequin, you could leave it in there for a while and it won't actually mould, form. Whereas if you use KY jelly, if you don't rinse it properly in the mannequin, you'll actually form mould. What do you do first before you do any procedure? Before you put the tube in, what do you do first? What's the purpose of that? Sorry? So, I've never known anybody who's been able to tell me reliably that it's so pathology. I personally think that it is to lubricate, and the next most important thing is to point the direction to go. When you go in, sometimes it's a little fold just in there that you go and get. If you were to come back on yourself, very common people do enemas, and they'll perforate people's bowel by not doing a proper examination. Children, how do you do when they've been anaesthetised? Ladies, how do you do a PR on a child, anybody young? Little finger. So always think of that. Patient will always start on the left hand side where possible. Now, don't know how else to say. Anuses, bumholes. What's the shape of your anus? Is it round? Is it oval? This is the only time I'm actually going right back to basics. What shape is it? It's embarrassing, isn't it? I never really thought. I know what it is, but I don't really want to say. It's oval. Okay, slightly ovoid. So, when you're going to do a PR, it's oval. It's oval in this shape. Anterior to posterior, posterior to anterior to the right. It's not going left lateral to right lateral. The reason why I'm saying this is, if it's not going left lateral to right lateral, why would you put your finger in this way? I always put my finger in that way. So you'll always see me deliberately put the hand to the ceiling and do something the left way. As it goes in, I'll then do this. Turn it around and I'll do it slowly and then back again. The reason for that, then in a little bit further than that. So kids in again. That's what I do. So I always start. And the other tip is that your finger is ovoid as well. So as that goes in, it's actually going in with resistance. Oh, too late for that one. Alright. So what we do is these are, so we'll show those at the moment. These, when you have particular difficulty in your procedures, we'll recognise it, we'll talk about it. So if you're looping, one of these will have a sigmoid loop, so that will enable us to change the thing in here, which sits behind, and it enables us then to set the configuration. That's what they're for. We normally set it in the most difficult configuration. Where you're thinking. So put a fair bit of gel on. Patient, I would be doing this side. You don't see you doing it. Hold the scope, finger on the straight. Thumb on the D, scope going, nice and gentle. Push it around, put it. Now look at the screen to make sure I can see the anus before I touch. I look at the patient, I actually nod to the acting assistant that the scope is in. 2 fingers to that side, and then hold the scope. I don't do anything like a lot of people do. Scope in, up, this. Hold the scope between the 2 fingers. Hold the 2 fingers where they are. Put the scope back onto the bed. Now, these fingers haven't moved yet. Now, screen, look at the screen, draw back, and let the scope sit. Let the scope now relax. Now let go of the scope, let go. Look. You remember when I said stop? What is the best thing to do? You guys said withdraw, do this, the other. The best thing is just to do. And now the next best thing is just to relax and let go of the scope. As soon as you let go of the scope, you can see where to go. See where to go? Anybody? Sorry? 9 o'clock? Did you say 9 o'clock? So on the here we're looking at 12 o'clock is the top, 6 o'clock is at the bottom, 3 is to the right, 9 to the left. So 3? 3. So how do we go to 3? 9 o'clock. Now we've got a lot of gel on this skull. So what would you now do with the skull? We've got a lot of gel on the skull. Why? Okay, I don't. Hold the skull here, lift the skull here, and now go clockwise till I draw back. What direction are you in? 3 o'clock? Look at the folds. Can you see the fold? The fold is actually pointing the direction to go. The fold there is saying to me, think of me as a step on a ladder. So if I now rotate the scope to a step on a ladder, now I go up that ladder. Now I can go forward. Now I look at the other step, anti-clockwise. Where's the step on the ladder? So that's just adjustment of the big wheel there. Advance, advance, advance. Now I let go of the big wheel. anything with the scope, have you? The mannequins themselves, they need to be pre-lubricated, so you will find that you'll end up looping a little bit more than what you will do on a human being. So a little bit of clockwise torque, then come back and neutralise. See there? Look at the bow, look at the wall. Which way do you think it should go now? Give you more clues, is it? 7. Lumen's not clear. Where do you think we should go now? 6. 5. Okay. Let's make a consensus. Look at the image that you can see on the screen. Where's the shadow? Look at the shadow just there. There's a fold just here. So what you need to do is be more specific in what you're saying. If I went to what you were saying, what would happen is I would actually be going 6 o'clock. I'd be going straight up to there now, so that part of the bow. What you need to be doing is being more specific in what you're saying. So when I'm saying where should I be going, I'm going to say to you, advance, stop. Now I'm going to ask you to slowly apply anti-clockwise torque 90 degrees. Slowly apply anti-clockwise torque 90 degrees. Slowly draw the big wheel back. Slowly draw the big wheel back. Advance the scope 2 centimeters. Advance the scope 2 centimeters. Stop. Slowly put the big wheel down. Slowly put the big wheel down. Right? Slowly draw the scope back a centimeter. And what you can see now. Now apply ever so slowly the clockwise torque. Now apply the clockwise torque. And then it goes round. Because it's manipulable. And I have to then hear you. That's what we want you to do. Is applying the torque to go around. Now come back. Not bothered about coming back. Anti-clockwise. Advance. Clockwise. See the scope go back on the bed. Up. Down. Anti-clockwise. Come back. And then go forward. Now, you've got this configuration. What's that mean? Ooh, no. Don't be sat up off the bed like that. That means you've got a loop in the bow. So if we just look at this, we haven't even got anywhere for you, but you can see that there is a loop just starting to form in the bow. So we come back round. These are the best mannequins in the world. Now don't push. You've got to see where you're going all the time. If you don't see where you're going, you look, keep the scope up so it's going straight. Bring back, bring back. Can you see the fold coming in from the right? The fold coming in from the left. Where do you think the bow is? It's actually here, 9. Now we have to pick our way through. Pick our way through. Advance, tip up, pick our way through. Relax. Draw back the scope. Every time that you're scoping, you're always trying to keep the tip straight. Instead of returning that now to a straight point, keep the tip straight. Not being able to get around there. So now what you do? See the configuration that you've got. Comes round. A little bit there. Do you notice tipping the skull up, when I'm actually going with the lens, even though I'm here, keep coming back, I'm here, and I then tip it up so the fold's below me, and I go over that fold, why do you think I then go up a little bit more? Why do you think I increase the angulation of the tip up more so? Sorry? No. It's because where the lens sits on the actual tip of the skull is a few millimeters inside the actual outside of the tip of the skull. So if you then just lift this up so that fold disappears, as you advance you're catching that fold at the bottom of the skull. So you have to increase that by a couple of millimeters to go over it. You've got to think about how the scope is laid out. You know, with all the things on the scope, the air water channel, the lens, light source, they're all within a circle that's against the scope. They're all around. So this scope, the actual bowel is lubricated. So what's happening is that the rubber is actually catching the skull. That's me that's caused that, which is water onto the skull. So all I'm going to do. Okay. Akram, have you got the blue stuff, Akram? Sorry? The blue stuff? That's good. Okay. Needs to be in water, 50 mils of water. So what's happening is, as you go advancing, it's actually capturing the bowel wall. Is that made up? 50 ml. 50 ml of that. Okay. Oh. Is this made up?
No.
50 ml. What people would make these mannequins? If you look at the guides, what you're supposed to do is so many folds, and then you do the next one, so many folds, and then you do the next one. So if you look at this, you can say, for example, on this one here, the guide in. So 1, 2, 3. Now select it and come up, and then you say here, 3 folds. Say 7 folds. So for the first one is 3 folds, 1, 2, 3. And the next one then, it will be come up to 2 folds, and then the next one will be 7 folds. I'm not having to do this. A lot of people don't realise that that's how many these mannequins are made. You actually stretch them out a little bit more. We need to set these up configuration, the normal configuration. If you look you going to do? You're going to advance and draw back. But continue the wood room. So draw back. Once you've negotiated the area, just think of it. Advance, 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 advance. Clockwise, stop, draw back. Now I'm going to go anti-clockwise. These are
Why we don't make it
right. The reason we use that, I explained before, when you're advancing the scope, even though you're going forward, you're dragging this bow with you. Once you get to a point, you stop, you go back, and then the bow will come back, and you can advance. So you're stretching the bow before you as you go. So that's the reason why. If you look now, you think, oh my God, look what you've done with the scope. You didn't see it, you're too busy watching the screen. What we're doing now is that we're going to look and see. Look at the folds. Can you see the folds? Now as we apply a clockwise torque, neutralise that, and let the torque come round. Now, draw back the scope. Anything that I do, I draw back the scope when I finish. Advance, advance, stop, draw back. Advance, 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 stop, draw back. Advance, 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 stop, draw back. Advance, 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 stop, draw back. Now, I've got 2 points there where the scope now has gone forward and it's not gone forward. You thought it had, but it hadn't. Because now I've got a loop potential that's forward. Look how far the scope goes. So now just slowly walk. That actually holds the bowel in. So that's the reason for that. But what we're going to do is just show you what's happening. If I now advance the scope nice and slowly, look, there's a loop forming, and I don't know where. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually do the most common thing, which is do an anti-clockwise, and draw back the scope. See how much scope I'm taking out? But I'm not actually gone back yet. Now come back, come back. Now the scope step forward. Did you see when it stepped forward? Come back a bit more, and now go forward. Try it once more. It's not working. So come back, and come back, and come back. Now because it's a mannequin, you wouldn't do that to a person. You wouldn't actually then take the skin off and then come back. Would you? So what you do now, come back, now advance. No, it's still looping. So what we need to do now, change. I've done it twice, 3 times. Now, first thing I'm going to do, pull back. Pull back. So pull back and then again. Look at the scope, pull back, and now the scope's come back. Pull back. I don't mind about dropping back, dropping back, dropping back. Advance, advance. I don't mind about dropping back. Let it go, let it go. Now you can see what you get, which is this more loop. So, this is the difficult bit. Apply clockwise torque, draw back, draw back, draw back, keep it going. Now apply this. I'm watching the 70 on the scope. The 70 should stay where it is. So as it comes around on these scopes, because the sole is very difficult for it. And look, it's gone forward. That's because you're using the torque in the scope. And look, it's straight. So you're getting to that point where we're forming around here. So there, there's the tip. It's easy. So what's happening is you're getting to this point here in transfers, then you're forming this single loop, and then you're just continuing with the scope. I then think about which way is that forming, and I went the opposite way to what all you guys would do. You guys would go clockwise, I went anti-clockwise. Now at this point, as you can see it, I'm drawing back, maintaining torque, look at the scope tip staying straight, look at the scope tip, it's coming back. It's a mannequin, so it won't do anything, and then you go forward again. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Now that's beyond, because the seeking is here on this one. Right? So sorry about the start, because it's never been used before the mannequin, so there was no lubricant in the scope, because even the bowels, human beings' bowels, would have lubricant in. So sorry about that. Once we've got lubricant in, the scope goes down. Any questions? Now you're going to do it. So what I'm going to do, I'll limit you on time. I'm doing it, don't worry. You can actually go round. So if you look, the scope umbilical's there. I've took out the loop that was in the scope. I could put another loop inside the bowel. Watch. So now I've got this hand over there. Now if we actually want to take that out, little wheel forward, big wheel forward, big wheel forward, little wheel back. Continue to take this round, little wheel, keep it going round, keep it going round. So you can actually do complete 360s of the barrel if you do it slowly. If you've got a loop there, it's causing you problems. Draw back, now you've done it, and then go forward. Tip off. Draw back, now you've done it, you can see your hand there, the right disc, then you can go forward. Okay? This is take out loop from here, and take put the loop. You can put a loop in there. I did that because it was a sigmoid loop. I've put that in so it will sigmoid loop. What can you say? Now the next most important thing, none of you have picked it up, which you need to be aware of. When I ask you to check the scope before the scope goes in, you've all said air, water, you've all said big wheels, you've all said lock. The other thing is stiffness. Off. And don't have stiffness on withdrawal. Stiffness is off. I try to avoid using stiffness. That's just the way I am. What stiffens on the scope when you actually apply it? Do you apply it 1, 2, 3, or do you apply it in stages? Who does what? When you apply stiffness, do you go 1, 2, 3, or do you go to 1, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, or do you go straight to? Straight to 3, he says. So do you go to 1, 2, you go 1, 2, 3. So you'll go to 1, then you'll go to 2, then you'll go to 3.
So no.
I'll show you when to take the scope out. You go straight to 3. No idea. Okay. So 1 and 2 useless. Right. It should be there. It should be on or off.
Yeah.
Once you apply it,
दोनों
you withdraw the scope.
नहीं.
Then you can advance. You don't switch it on or apply it and then advance. You withdraw the scope. On withdrawal, you take it off and withdraw the scope. Okay? Now we'll withdraw the scope. Just put the light off just for a second.
Okay. Yes.
Right, got the scope. So what part of the scope, when you use stiffness, is stiffened? So when we apply 1, 2, 3, when we go straight to 3, from where to where, or where to where, is stiffened? Where do you think gets stiffened? From where? To where? On here. Okay. Where? You don't use it. What's the difference? You look at it, is, I'll ask that to take it off. Look at that. Watch the scope. See now when it relaxes at 60. So the first part, you take it off, goes up under stiffness. Undo it. So all the way off. Look. So what happens is, so the actual stiffness goes to here. So if you're in a loop, you apply that, and your loop's here, and your loop's here, that comes, you like to apply it. I find it very difficult to do it, but what's happened, look at it, the apex is forcing itself out. So it's all the way. So if you look, it actually increases all the way. So it increases. I've not done anything. The stiffness has increased now. So if you're looping, you increase that during the loop, it will cause more pain. So no stiffness, take the loop out, look how much it falls. You cannot, even I can't, do that any less. See that as a withdrawing, even I can't take it all off. Now I take that out. Now you can see how much, it's 50%. So the stiffness can help and can hinder. A 10% Right, my friend. You've got gloves.
What about retroflexion?
Retroflexion, I'll show you that outside the scope. Patient in the left lateral. I'll advance the scope. Light will be on.
Yes.
Boss, are you happy for all of them to stand here and watch this, or they can sit because it's being transmitted on the
They can sit and watch if you wish. If you
Yeah.
want to stand there, you can.